History is full of accidents. How did Christianity become the most successful religion in the world? We can't explain it.
Now, this is a fascinating clip by Jewish historian Dr. Harari, who discusses how Christianity became the most dominant religion in the Roman Empire and then the world. That is, what is it about Christianity that led it to crush the Greek and Roman gods and be adopted by the Roman Empire? Now, Dr. Harari states,
if you rewind the movie of history and press play, and you rewind and press play 100 times, I think Christianity would take over the Roman Empire and the world maybe twice out of 100 times. It was such an unlikely thing to happen.
Now, there are three key elements that Dr. Harari overlooks when considering how Christianity completely destroyed the other religions in the Roman Empire. You see, without these 3 points, we cannot even begin to grasp how Christianity has forever changed our world. So to understand how Christianity became the accepted religion in the Roman Empire, we need to contrast the Greek and Roman gods with Jesus. Now, what the Greek and Roman gods wanted was a mystery. These gods were unknowable. Now, as an ordinary Roman person, you could try and keep peace with these gods through sacrifices and through observing festivals. But even then, you weren't really sure if you were pleasing the gods. Now, in contrast, Jesus was knowable. Jesus told you exactly what he required out of you. Jesus did not require animal sacrifices, but rather Jesus required faith and loyalty. And in return, the Christian would get an assurance of their right standing with God, as God would grant them forgiveness of sins and the Holy Spirit to believers. Therefore, many people in these first few centuries deserted the old gods of the Romans and the Greeks and started following Jesus precisely because he was knowable. Now, not only was Jesus knowable, but he had a fundamentally different attitude towards humans. You see, the Greek and Roman gods just simply did not care about humans. In the epic literature and in the theatre, the gods routinely used and abused humans for their own desires and ends. Indeed, when the gods came near, this often led to horrific things being done to humans they encountered. Whereas Christianity taught that there is a God that loved you. Indeed, a God that loved you so much that he became a human in Jesus, lived a lowly life, and died for you. Now, imagine you're a slave living in the Roman world. On the one hand, you hear of all these stories of the gods using and abusing humans for their own ends. And on the other hand, you hear of this Jesus who came and died a slave's death to set you free because he loves you. Now, which one of these gods do you think that you're going to give your devotion to? Now, a God that is knowable and loves you is nice, but in fact, we actually have another God in the Roman Empire that also loved her devotees. That is, the Egyptian god Isis was also known to love her followers. However, Christianity differed from the devotees of Isis because the love that God has shown you, you as a Christian were expected to replicate to other Christians. You see, because Jesus loved us, we are then commanded to love one another. Indeed, this love is practically expressed in the sharing of possessions. Therefore, to become a Christian not only means to enter into a relationship with a God that loves you, but it also means entering into a community that loves you and shares its possessions with you. So as more of the poor and marginalized joined these Christian communities, it became inevitable that Christianity would destroy these Greek and Roman gods. Now, this all means that Jesus' life, and in particular his death, is really the locus point for God's love and Christians' love for one another. Now, in this video here, I've explored the multiple layers of meaning in Jesus' death.